Okay, this is going to be a response to complete rationalities. Is prison justice or luxury for violent offenders? Complete Rationality makes great videos. Subscribe to his channel. Um, I'm, I'm responding to this because I feel like I can offer a little more insight through my personal experiences into this than most people probably can, because I've actually been in prison. I did 3 years. And let me see. It's it's not as bad as some people think. In some ways, it's not like don't drop the soap or you're gonna. I mean, I guess it isn't like that in maximums, like when you're going to maximum security prisons. But I was in mediums, and you really don't have to worry about that. But you know, the level of pain that you feel from the lost time and from not being around, everybody and everything that you know and love is beyond what you can comprehend. You can truly comprehend unless you've actually done it. Unless you've actually been separated from everything, you cannot understand it. I thought I understood it before I went upstate. Because you think about it, because obviously I was doing things that I knew carried the potential for me to go upstate. So I thought about it, but until you're actually there, you can't understand what it's like to be completely separated. So, I mean, I see what you're getting at, and and don't get me wrong. There are people in prison who genuinely seem to enjoy it, but it's not because of the cable TV. It's not because of the amenities that are there to help. They're basically there to preserve our sanity. I mean, they make it safer for the COs. If we didn't have cable TV and shit like that, man, there'd be fightings and stabbings and riots and shit all the time, because people's minds need something to focus on. And I read book after book after book, but there's only so much reading someone can do before your eyes just there's just there's only so much you can do of any one particular thing before that starts to drive you crazy. You need to have multiple forms of release for your mental and physical energy. And so you have in television and music and stuff like that, things like that. Especially when you're not allowed to walk to the store, you're not allowed to talk. You can't talk to people you genuinely know for your whole life and you care about and stuff like that. You need something to distract yourself from that. Otherwise, you will find a negative release for that energy. And there are people who genuinely enjoy it, but it's not because of that. The people who genuinely enjoy prison enjoy it because they found a milieu for them, so a place where they can thrive, where they can use their ability to inflict pain on others, to ascend to a level of social dominance. I guess basically in many ways parallel, because they become the big men. Parallel, kind of like how in this world, because prison is another world, how the businessman is, or how the police officer or the mayor is. That's what they are in there. So really, you take that away from them. Yeah, they'd feel it too, but it would probably actually hurt the ones that are genuinely just trying to figure out a way to pass the time until they can try to get back to their life and try to never return. Probably hurt them even more. So I see what you're getting at, and I'm not saying that justice shouldn't be pursued, but like you said, it's impossible to adequately define, and then you also got to take in the grander scheme of things, the society, because we don't live in a vacuum. The society we live in makes us who we are, and I feel this part is where I think my personal experience being in there gives me the greatest depth of insight is that the people in there are not what they are made out to be. They are not monsters. I mean, a few of them are. The vast majority are not. Even those who come off as monsters at first are not. I've seen, you know, as a state, my grandmother died, my grandfather died, my father died, and the level of compassion that I saw from some of the people in there, from seeing, because they call you down to the counselor's office, and they give you the news, and you come back, I mean, they could tell, they could tell you've been crying and shit, and they're just really monsters. They'd be like, oh, yo, that motherfucker was crying, da da da. But when they come back, like literally, like the whole dorm is like worried and shit, because a lot of people been through it themselves, and they've seen their friends go through it. You sit in your bunk, you're just dazed, and people are walking by, people you don't even really talk to all like that, and they're just like, yo, son, I'm sorry, I'm sorry about, I heard what happened, I'm sorry about that, keep your head up, blah blah, throw you a snack cake or something, just a little something, try to make you feel at least a little bit better. They're not animals. They're human beings. I mean, not saying that you're accusing them of that, but we need to try to move our system more towards a way of capitalizing on the humanity that exists within any human being inherently, and trying to bring that out instead of, because this constant just punishment, especially with so many of them. Because you can see it through the compassion they can give to somebody that's not them. Well, at least not the totality of them is, but that part of all of us that can be corrupted has been corrupted by a corrupt society, a society that does not value humanity in its truest sense, but it values material possessions, material goods, money. The large segments of our population are intentionally left behind, and that's where the vast majority of prisoners come from. And I don't know, it's just, I'm sorry I'm rambling, but basically we can look at it on a global scale. So we want to reduce the recidivism rate. We can go the way of Norway and Sweden, countries like that, with very soft prisons, but they have very strong educational programs in the prisons to help the prisoners, put themselves in a position where they can provide for themselves legally when they get out of prison. Or we can go the way of Iran, and they just chop motherfuckers' hands off and torture them and shit. And I don't know about you. Well, I'm pretty sure we're in agreement on this. I'm 99.99999% sure we're in agreement on this, that we don't want to live in a society like that. We want to live in a society where we learn to forgive each other, where we say, yeah, we want justice and we want things like that, but building a society that is truly just on a grander scale, where people are valued for their humanity, is much more important than this little immediate justice that doesn't have long-lasting effects for a whole species. And that's where we're at. So I don't know. I can't say 100% for sure for you, but I know 100% for me. I'd rather go the way of Norway and educate people. I'd say educate them before they get into prison, instead of fucking just forgetting about the inner cities like we do in this country right now. But that's my little take on it. Alright, peace.